Good morning. Can't wait to see you in person, hopefully soon. Look, I don't think the underlying tensions have gone away between UAE and Saudi Arabia because that's a broader issue, right? It's not just to do with oil. Saudi Arabia is rather, I wish the UAE is trying to seek a bit more dominance in the region, become a bit more independent, come out of the shadows of the quote-unquote big brother. But I do think with regards to OPEC, they are happy with the fact that they have a higher baseline, even though if you look at the production numbers or the quotas that they've been given, it's not very much. They only get to produce 30,000 barrels per day more next year. But this is symbolic, and I have spoken with both, obviously all the key ministers after the meeting, and it does seem like, they, at least for now, the dispute is over. OPEC cohesion will very much stay in place, which we did think this is not going to be the end of OPEC, like a lot of people were saying. Yes, it was challenging, but it was definitely something, a gap that could have been bridged.
Amrita, you and I have talked way too much in years past about the demise of OPEC, but OPEC is only OPEC now because of the plus bidders. Surely the key relationship, although we've spent a lot of time talking about the UAE and Saudi, the key relationship remains Saudi and Russia, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's part of the reason why the UAE has felt slighted because of Saudi Arabia's growing closeness with Russia. And if you look at this deal that was brokered, I mean, Russia played a huge part in it, as did some of the other kind of key GCC countries and the bilateral talks. And, Mazrui did say that at the press conference as well about both Abdulaziz and Novak. I think that bond actually is a lot stronger than it has been. And of course, everybody remembers April 2020. Part of the reason why people were fearing another repeat was because of what happened last year. But no, the Saudi-Russia bond, that is very strong right now.
I gather Prince Abdulaziz was making Terminator jokes as well about OPEC Plus, saying, I'll be back, talking about just how strong the alliance is. But Rita, let me also ask you about the point you made around these baseline production levels. There was only a small increase. I noted that as well. So why all the fuss from the UAE just to negotiate a small increase?
Oh, we thought the same on a sunny Sunday afternoon, when you go through all the numbers. But look, I think baselines are very political, right? They have to be done because this is about giving the recognition of how much they could produce. And this is also a nod, and I do think the market's underappreciating how the lack of investment is going to cripple a lot of OPEC Plus countries. So this is a nod to those countries that can realistically increase some production. We think even Russia is going to struggle to go to 11 and kind of beyond that. But yes, I think that's kind of the broader issue over here, that it's recognizing the ability to produce more. But if you actually look at the quotas, and this is very important for the market to understand, baselines are not the same as quotas. The quota increase is very, very small, and you essentially have 400,000 barrels per day of production increase every month from August onwards through to September next year. But they also have the flexibility to stop for 3 months should Iran come back or should the demand concerns from the Delta variant become bigger. So they have given them that flexibility.
Yeah, let's just pick up on that point, because at this stage there feels like there's significant uncertainty too for what happens on an economic demand side for oil as we deal with the Delta, but also the Beta variant as well. So what do you make of this announcement and what it means for the amount of supply coming into the market when there's still significant demand uncertainty? Do you think we get any big moves in the oil price from here?
I do think you're going to get a lot of volatility today because of the confusions around baselines and quotas. I mean, we had so many people call in thinking that production will go up by 1.6. That's absolutely not the case. But also, as you said, look, in Asia, there are renewed lockdowns because of surging cases. The only thing I would say is that this is in news. We have been kind of dealing with this for the last couple of weeks. Asia has been going back into lockdown versus the West that's reopening. So a coordinated reopening of the world, I still think, is for middle of next year. We have been saying that for a while because vaccination rates in Asia are lagging. And until and unless the majority of the global population is vaccinated, it's going to be hard for oil to recover properly because jet demand can't really recover because there's so many restrictions around flying still.
Amrita, just a quick one for me. We spent all our time talking about the supply side. You were talking a little bit about demand there as well. In previous times we've got up to these kind of levels, demand destruction has occurred in the 70s as well. That's where the Indian Energy Minister has previously got very, very worried about the cost of oil for his economy and others as well. Where is that demand destruction for those major consumers in Asia? Is it the same kind of price we have seen previously, i.e. round about where we are now?
I'd say it's a little bit higher, particularly right now, simply because there's so much pent-up demand. I think they're tired of having been stuck at home over the last 18 months. And one of the things you're seeing is people are willing to pay very, very high prices for whether it be rental cars, whether it be holidays. And I think that's why this summer and into next year, there will be a lot of inelasticity of demand to prices. It is about it, and people have been able to save up as well. So it is really about their ability to go out, really. I think that's the key right now. But yes, next year, let's say in a year's time, we will be talking about price elasticity, similar levels, 75 and above. We start to hit quite a few key consumers.